What's up guys, it's Eric from B-Side. Today we have a really cool car visiting us today. It's a LEXUS GX460, one of the popular platforms that we work on. Car is a fully built rig with a lot of cool parts on it, and we're gonna be adding another CarPlay and front camera adapter to this vehicle. So we're super excited to work on this car today. If you want to see very detailed instructions on how to install these parts, go ahead and check out our other video. Today is gonna be a pretty quick video. We are gonna go through the installation and also a demonstration process, but it's not gonna be as detailed as the other one. We just decided to shoot this video today just because the car is just so cool. All right, well, let's not waste any time. Let's get in the car and start installing our parts. All right guys, I'm in the vehicle. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna start with the easy stuff first. Just press down on this shift boot and turn the knob counterclockwise to remove. All right, and set this aside in a safe location. We'll do this for the driver's side as well. All right, now let's remove this. Go ahead and just place your hand down here and just slowly move it up. We're gonna change the gear down to like N or drive. Before you do that, just make sure your emergency brake is engaged, or else your car will roll if you're parked at an incline. Pull this towards you. Remove all the connectors, push down on the release tab, and then pull out on the connector. Don't pull on the cable or the wires. Okay, there's two in the front. All right, now place your hand down here and just pull this panel out like so. All right, and now we're gonna work on this side here. Let's remove this. You could use a panel removal tool and pop this edge out. It's easier to remove, or you could just grab a hold of this and then just work your way down slowly, releasing the clips. There it is. And now let's remove this. Start from the vent side and work your way towards the middle. All right, now we are ready to remove this garnish here that surrounds the start and stop button. You could use a panel removal tool to help. You could place it down here and pop it off, or you could just place your finger back here and just pull it out. Okay, and disconnect the start button. Now this exposes all the 10mm bolts that I'm going to be removing. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6. Okay, for the left side, you want to use an extension. Be careful not to scratch your steering wheel when doing this. Okay, so the radio is ready to come out. Place a really thick towel in the center here. Okay, you do not want this shift lever touching this radio piece. Place your hand here, you're gonna pull it out. All right, and then let's pull out the top. And for the top, we are going to just disconnect all the connectors. Got 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is empty. You only have this if you have the 360 camera. All right, so we're gonna be installing both CarPlay and front camera adapter at the same time. So just to not get you confused, I'm going to install the CarPlay first. So for the CarPlay interface, there's different ways to mount your two boxes that comes in the CarPlay kit. You can either mount it back here. There's a lot of room. You could fit it back here, or you could fit it on the bottom as well. You could fit it down here under this cup holder, or back here. So many different areas you could mount them. Let's also remove this cup holder. Very easy. Just raise the armrest and just pull this up. It's all being held by clips, and there's just going to be one connector under it. It's for your cup holder light. So that opens a big space here where you can mount the two boxes. All right, so for this customer, we're just going to install everything behind the radio, and I'll show you how everything fits, including the two boxes and the front camera adapter. So let's first connect all the connectors and the harnesses that we need to connect. I'm gonna start off with this here, the largest main connector. And the CAN wires are going to be pre-configured already, so you do not have to mess with it like I'm doing right now. But if you want to just double check and confirm that it's configured correctly, the orange and the white wires will be connected together, the red cables will be connected together, and the brown wires will be connected together. Okay, so let's pull the radio back, and we are going to remove the large connector here. You have to press down on the release clip tab. You'll need like a flathead screwdriver, or you could use a panel removal tool and just pull it out like so. We're going to loop this to the top, and then we're going to connect our connectors. And all these wires and cables that's coming from this, we're going to route all of them to the top. So we got the microphone, we got the power cable, and we have this main connector here. I'm gonna loop behind here, come right over, like so. Okay, I'm gonna leave it up there for now. And let's get our GVIF cables. One is labeled in, the other one is labeled out. The one that is labeled in will connect to here, to the car side. And the one that is labeled out will be connected to the screen. So we'll hold on to this for a little bit. And then we have our HDMI cable, which we will connect to the two boxes. We'll keep that on the side. And we have the USB that we're going to route all the way from the top to the bottom. I'm gonna go all the way bottom, okay? And try to keep it to the left side. That is where we're gonna zip tie it later. And we also have our antenna. Antenna will go behind the radio all the way down to the ground as well. We'll just let these wires hang for now. And we also have this auxiliary audio cable that we will route from behind the radio to the top screen. So let's locate that correct connector. It is this connector here. Press down release tab, pull out like so, and let's connect our audio connector. All right, and make sure everything clips into place. You need to hear that click. Once again, like I said, we routed the audio cable through the top hole. All right, so everything is routed and connected. So now let's locate and grab our two boxes. So we have our two boxes here. Your dip switch box may look different. We changed the casing on it. This one's metal, newer one's plastic. And grab these, and then let's add these insulation tape. These comes with the kit. And when you apply these foam tape, make sure you do not cover the vents because the box do need to breathe. Okay, so I added the insulation tape on a dip switch box. Okay, the dip switch setting should be 1 down, and it's gonna be pre-configured. Just in case you accidentally change it, it's only gonna be 1 is on, everything else is off. All right, so let's start off by connecting our GVIF cables. Okay, when you're making these connections, just do the best you can, not to cross wires or to tangle them up. Just be very careful. And this one is labeled GVIF in, and the one that's labeled in is going to connect to the outside edge, like so. And the one that's labeled GVIF out will connect to the inside like this, and what is left is the HDMI cable. Okay, all right, so this is the box that's going to mount in first, okay, behind there. And in front of this we will mount the module, and then to the side we will mount the front camera adapter. So let's try to organize our cables a bit so we don't tangle them up. Okay, I'm going to move over all the cables and the wires that's going to connect to the wireless module to the left side, and then I'll keep everything that's going to connect to our dip switch box to the right side. So we also have this connector to connect to the dip switch box, which is right here. So I'm going to organize one box at a time. So let me zip tie these, shorten the cables and the wires a bit, and then mount it behind the radio. And after we mount it, we will work on the wireless module. Okay, we're gonna have some excess wires. We're going to tuck it to the left side. There's a lot of room back here. And then let's go ahead and just tuck this in here. Be very careful not to put any pressure on the connection points, especially the HDMI part, because that is the longest cable and it's a bit fragile. So be very careful you do not damage it while you're mounting all these wires and cables. Okay, we actually tuck the wire up on the top, not to the right side. Okay, just keep it like that for now. All right, so we'll just let it sit there for now. We still have this GVIF cable that we need to connect to the screen, and we have a lot of other wires going around. Just try to keep them as organized as possible. All right, now let's connect the connectors and cables for our wireless module. So we got all these. Okay, so we got the audio. Audio will connect to line out. Do not connect to external speaker. You'll get distortion if you do. We have this power cable. It's connected here to main power 12 volt. Then we have the microphone that will connect to mic in. Then let's connect our antenna. Here it is. This is for the wireless connection. All right, and then we also have these USB right here. And lastly, we'll connect the HDMI. Before we connect the HDMI, let me tidy up the wires a little bit. All wires, huh, Keon? Oh, and before we tidy up the wires, let's add the foam tape. And once again, do not block the vents. This little camera makes noise, huh? Like a high-pitched frequency noise.
Are the gimbal motors going?
All right, so here it is. We have everything connected. Okay, there's a lot of cables and wires going through, so just do the best you can to organize it. All right, and try to put the wires and cables away from the two boxes, because you want to make as much room as you can, since we are also going to be mounting the front camera adapter. And you also want to keep these boxes in a higher position so that it stays behind the screen and not towards the radio, and that's because there's a lot more room behind the screen and there's not much room behind the radio. Position it the best you can behind the radio and you shouldn't have any issues. All right, so we are left with this. Now we have these connectors here that's going to connect behind the radio, and then the radio will just go back into place. So let me grab my front camera adapter. All right, so I got a few more things here which I'm going to be using to install the front camera. So here is the connector for it. This basically will connect to here, and then the other side will connect behind the radio. And we have a bunch of other cables and wires. You do have to connect these bullet connectors together. And when you're connecting these bullet connectors, just match up the color. So the red goes to red, black to black, white to white, purple to purple, brown to brown, and white to white. And these are just different type of signals. If you're curious to what each wire does, you'll see it here. It's accessory, ground, speed, reverse in, reverse out, and an SW is your switch, which we are also going to route to one of the blank switches. So I like to organize these cables as much as I can. So I'm going to use some electric tape just to tidy them up, because keeping these loose wires like this will be more prone to getting it tangled up, which we don't want. So we're going to tidy this up, and while we're doing so, let me also tell you how this connects. So this backup cam is going to connect to the female side over here, okay, of the RCA. The male side RCA is going to connect to the output. So basically it's getting the backup camera signal in and an output to the screen. And the front camera will just connect directly to the front camera harness. And then the switch will connect straight to the switch. Okay, and then this is our front camera harness that we just connected, and we are going to add more electric tape here just to secure all these RCA cables. But before we do that, let me route these cables. So we got this main harness that's going to connect to our front camera through the grommet on the driver's side. And before we route these cables, so we have these two cables here. One's black, one's red. So the black is ground and the red is power. So I will be connecting this actually to this red cable here. Okay, this red wire here. This also gives accessory red wire. And then the black will connect to the black wire, which is the ground. So the front camera adapter comes with this pulsey tap that we are going to be using. Okay, very easy to use. All you have to do is screw this in from one side, and we need to screw this part to the cable. Just connect it right here. Okay, with these pulsey tap, before you secure it, just undo it once. Make sure the hole went through, which I confirm it did. And you can put it back. And you can use some electric tape to make sure this doesn't go undone. Okay, next let me grab my ground cable right here, and we are going to splice it into the ground wire. It's a black cable here, so you can't use any part of this black cable from here. Basically it's this black wire here that goes all the way across, and we'll grab it right here. So basically there's different ways you could do this. You could use a splicer. We're going to use one of the bullet connectors, so let me just open this up first. Okay, there it is. Alright, it's on there pretty good. Okay, there's many different ways to splice into this, so you can use splicer of your choice. All right. So those two wires are connected, and now let's route the rest of this cable for the front camera towards the driver's side down there and through the grommet. So we're gonna go behind the top open area, and then we're going to reach down here to the left. See my finger? Where's my hands? Where's my hands? You know that song? Reach down here to the left, to the left, to the left. You know that song? Everyone knows that song, dude. Here it is. Alright, terrific. So when you do this, when you route it, the cables the way I did, you have a lot of extra front camera video cable. Take a note of that. Okay, so we have a lot of extra that we will tidy up and organize, and all these extra wires will fit behind the screen. Okay, and then next let's route this button. So we're gonna have to start routing this from back here. All right, so here's all the different sizes for this car. It's gonna be this largest one. It's actually gonna go fit on the left side over there. So we're gonna route this from there. But before we route it, make sure you put this cable through like this. Okay. And then we're going to route it from the bottom up, all right? I'm gonna go through the same route where these camera cables are going through. Okay, here it is. And let's connect it to our adapter. Okay, and then let me electrocute this area. Make sure these RCA cables are secured. All right, so this is all complete. So let me find some room up here to mount this. And while we're here, let's just use some foam tape and cover this up. All right, this will help it insulate a little bit. You can just try to find some room up here. There's a lot of room, so you shouldn't have a problem finding it. All right, terrific. So I finished mounting that. So now let's connect our harness for the front camera. Female side connects here, like so, and this will connect to the screen. Okay, once again, careful not to tangle up your cables and wires. Just keep everything as organized as possible. Okay, terrific. We got everything here, and I think we're ready to put everything back in place. So let's grab our screen. We're gonna mount our screen back. Before we do so, let me just push these adapters up. We're gonna try to keep it up as possible. All right, here we go. Okay, sorry. GVIF cable, the new harness. Let's connect it to our front camera adapter. And we have another connector here. And then we have our connector for the emergency lights. Okay. All right. And before we push the bottom one down, try to reposition the connectors so that everything goes in smoothly. You might have to place your hand behind. Okay. If it seems a little tight, you can move things behind the screen just to create more room. All right, so once that is out, let me confirm I have my antenna and my USB down here. So the antenna, we're going to just stick it down, straight down here under the carpet. Okay, we remove the adhesive. I'm just going to tuck it down here. All right, and we will zip tie these two wires to the factory cable so it doesn't restrict the movement of the center pocket. And we'll leave around this much room for the USB. All right, so before we go forward, let me just test to make sure everything's in working order, and then I'll reverse order everything I just did, which will complete this area of the installation. And I'll show you how we installed the rest of the front camera and the front camera adapter, where we mount from the front grille, and we route the cables in the engine bay through the grommet and to the driver's side, and where we mounted the button as well. All right, so one more step that I forgot to mention is to make sure you zip tie the wires coming down here with the factory bundle of wires. You'll see it on the left side. If you don't do this, it may intrude the movement of your center pocket. Back here as well. Okay, let's go ahead and put all these panels back on the right side. We're gonna go ahead and place our front camera button here, and we're gonna rearrange some stuff. This customer doesn't need this button. He told me just keep it on and push it behind. So what we're gonna do is first remove this panel right above it. You can use a panel removal tool. You could pull it out. Not too difficult to do. Once you remove this, you just remove these connectors, and then go ahead and pull this down. Okay, and from here we have access to these buttons. So let's push them out towards the front. Okay. Pressed in. We're gonna zip tie it back here somewhere. I'm going to also rearrange this button here. Move this here. I'll just zip tie this out of the way here. And then I will move our connector. Push this through here. Okay. All right, guys. So let me just quickly show you how everything was installed. So we got the front camera here. It's clipped on here. We did have to drill a hole behind to route the wire and the cables. Be careful, there's washer fluid back there, so if you drill straight into it, you might puncture your washer fluid. Be careful with that. And we routed the cable all the way to the side with some wire loom back down, and we went through the grommet through the firewall. And from there, from the driver's side here, came out here, and we have the cables and wires down there, and we installed the button right there. And now when you press this button, you see the front camera. And then you press it another time, you'll see the rear camera. So you can actually turn your front camera, rear camera on while you're driving. And you press one more time and it'll go back to your factory screen. And here's the CarPlay screen. Nothing is connected. That's why you see 3 icons. Even from here, press the front camera, rear camera, and then back to the CarPlay screen. All right, guys, well, that concludes our installation and our very, very short, quick demonstration of how our device works. If you want to see more in detail of our product and how it works, check out our other videos on our YouTube page. We have a lot of videos out there. And if you have any questions, leave a comment below. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button and give us a like. And I'll see you guys in the next video.